Welcome to Business Talk, presented in collaboration with the University of Rio Grande and the Ohio State University South Centers, from the heart of southeastern Ohio at the University of Rio Grande TV studio. Our goals are simple: promote the University of Rio Grande and the Ohio State University South Centers, as well as advocate local small business and their support organizations. More importantly, promote southeastern Ohio as a wonderful place to live, explore, and learn. There are many different ways you can find us. The University of Rio Grande Cable Access Channel 17, live online at blogtalkradio.com, and on YouTube if you are unable to catch our show live. Introducing our co-hosts, Jason Winters, Mike Thompson, Patrick Dengel. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to Business Talk, presented in collaboration with the University of Rio Grande and the Ohio State
Hey, welcome back to our show. Jason, this is sort of a unique experience for us. Mike is, of course, behind the scenes directing. He has a whole lot of new toys that he's playing with back there, and he's making you and I and our guest, our featured speaker, look nice.
Are you sure about that? Because we can't see what's going on.
Well, all I know is he's going to make my hair real black. He's going to thin down my stomach. That's why he's a technical wizard. But anyway, to our listening audience, want to thank you very much for joining us. This is the new studio that Mike has been working diligently throughout the summer in putting together and piecing, and behind the scenes, we also have a student from the University of Rio Grande who is helping. So it is just a fantastic situation that we are in. Scott Swain has been involved with our program for a number of years. Do you remember, Jason, when we had the telephone just on the Blog Talk Radio and
we didn't have to worry about our appearance.
That's right, yes. And Scott was willing to come on to our show. Well, something came up and he said, "Can I call in?" And I said, "Well, sure." And so we had a very good program. A lot of individuals listened to that program. Then about a year ago, we started working in a studio, or actually it was 2 years ago, in Mike's old studio, and Scott was able to come in, and we had another good show. And to celebrate our new show format, Scott has been willing to come on again, so he's our guinea pig.
Well, Scott, welcome back. It's nice to have you back as our guinea pig.
I am glad to be back. It is, I'm not really sure I'm, glad to be the guinea pig, but someone has to do it, and I'm here.
Well, one of the things that you have a very successful business in Gallipolis, Ohio. You have the tree care specialist. He's a ISA certified arborist, and if you can read my writing, he's an ornamental and certified landscape professional.
Yes.
And you have been doing that for many, many years, and you have been very successful at doing that. And so we want to welcome you, Scott.
Let's not say too successful. The bank might be listening.
That's
so
true.
Tell us a little bit about what you do and refresh our audience.
What the main focus of our business is tree care. We do residential, we do commercial, we do government contracts. Here in the Gallipolis area, Gallia County, Mason, Meigs County, we do mostly trimming, removal. We do some insect control, we do disease control, cabling, bracing, lightning protection, and just on sometimes consultation for the homeowner if they just have a question of what needs to be done or what they want done with the trees. We can go out and sort of point them in the right direction. Some people want to do it on their own, which is great, and some people want us to do it all. And then we have some customers that sort of mix it in the middle. They want to do a little bit and want us to do a little bit, and so we work with what the people want. And we try to do a good job of keeping the trees alive.
So how do you tell a healthy tree from an unhealthy tree?
The quickest, easiest way, if it's summertime, and I know we're getting into fall, the quickest, easiest way is to look at the leaves. Trees die sort of opposite of what most people would think, but if you get problems with the roots or the feeder system, the top of the tree dies first. And you'll start getting your dead branches in the top, and you'll start getting your leaves are smaller and things of this nature. Obviously looking for broken branches or wounds, open wounds and things of this nature. But the easiest, when it's under foliage, the easiest way to look at the tree is to see if anything's wrong with it is the canopy and the foliar system of it.
Well, as a matter of fact, Scott has a 6-minute film segment in which he talks about maintaining the health of the trees. And Mike,
So,
do
so
we have?
Pat, our new system here will allow us to show a film clip
Yes,
while we are
yes.
actually on live.
Yes, yes. Mike has been, as I said, working diligently and getting all the different equipment so that we have that capability. We're also looking to do live stream internet in addition to Blog Talk and our TV channel and different things of that nature. So Mike has promised us a lot.
Let's see what you can do, Mike.
I'm Scott Swain. I'm an ISA certified arborist. I'm also a certified landscape and ornamental professional. We're here this afternoon to talk a little bit about what homeowners, landowners, and individuals can do to improve their landscape, and whether they should do it themselves or whether they should hire a professional. This dogwood has damage from a lawnmower when someone left the roll bar up, took the bark off this tree. We also have damage to this tree down here that is of natural nature, where we have decaying bark and things. This tree is not in danger of dying, but it also needs some attention. It needs attention from fertilizer, it needs some insect control, and it needs to be treated by a professional. There are products out there that the homeowner can buy that they can put into this tree, but a tree of this nature needs to be treated and cared for by a professional. This is what they do, and this tree will survive a lot longer if it's cared for by a professional. Some of the ways your tree care professional can treat your tree is with injectables. This is two types of injectables from the Moget company. One is fertilizer and one is insect control. And they are put into the tree with a small hole in this needle-like injection, and it does little damage to the tree, and it gets the product into the tree quicker than doing it either by spray or ground injection. Some of the safety items that you need if you're going to work on a tree yourself or with a professional. You need gloves to protect your hands from injury. You need ballistic chaps to protect your legs from chainsaw injury. You need safety glasses to protect your eyes so that you don't get anything in your eyes. You also need, and a lot of people forget this, is head protection to protect you from falling items out of the tree. And if you use a chainsaw, you need to have a chainsaw that is safety operated. It has chain brake and has other safety features put on it by the manufacturer to help keep the operator safe. Let's now talk about chainsaw safety. Not the total operation of a chainsaw, but what you need to look at in a chainsaw so it can be operated safely. Does it have a chain brake that will stop the chain in case of a kickback? Does it have the teeth guards on it so you can get a good grip?
Does it have the correct chain on it? An anti-kickback chain? Does it have the other safety features on it that the manufacturer put on, and make sure that they're not removed before you operate a chainsaw? The proper ways to start a chainsaw is be on a flat level surface. Make sure the chain brake is engaged. Make sure that you have the engine primed and ready to start. Have it on the ground and pull. You need to be on a solid flat surface to do this so that there's no chance of the chainsaw slipping out of your hands or injuring you or someone bystanding. You've decided to call the tree care professional. Now what happens? The tree care professional comes to your property and will either tell you that he's going to cut your tree down or he's going to have a conversation with you. The best option for you is to call someone that will tell you what's wrong with the tree and what should be done with it to achieve the goals that you're setting out to do to improve your landscape. And that's the whole idea behind tree care. You should look up information on the arborday.org and the International Society of Arboriculture. This will give you a head start. Please have a plan set in mind when you talk to your tree care professional. He will ask you questions and he will give you options and other ideas what can be done to make your landscape better. If you live in the rural communities or the country as I do, one of the problems you'll have is the deer population. The deer population will come in and it's good for hunters, but it's bad for landscapes. There's several ways to do away with having deer in your landscape. The quickest, easiest is to build a fence around your garden or the landscape items that you want to keep the deer out of. There's several types of fences that will work. You can also use an odor deterrent. The problem with this is that the deer will get used to the odor and it doesn't smell good. The other ways is to make the deer not want to be here. Either put up a noise blower sound or an adjutant that they just don't want to be around. And one of the last ways that you can do is make the landscape item, whether it's your garden or whatever, unpalatable to the deer. You can use this with hot sauce. Just put a little hot sauce on where they've been nibbling and the deer will quit eating. The one thing that homeowners and landowners alike should know, that topping a tree is bad. Topping a tree will start the death of the tree. And if you hire a company that tells you they're going to top your tree, you need to call another company and have your tree trimmed to ANSI and OSHA standards so that your tree will be safer and the men working on your tree will be safer.
You know, Scott, in that last clip, you mentioned a little bit about topping a tree. I got a story. One of my mother-in-law's neighbor, he went through and he topped all the trees. And he didn't just take like a barber does and take a little off the top. He went all the way down to about a foot above the main part of the trunk and just whacked it off. And it didn't kill him, but that can't be healthy for a tree.
It didn't kill it right then. Trees are an organism of their own, and they do everything very slowly. And that's the one thing that most people don't understand, is they grow slowly and they get sick slowly most of the time, and they heal slowly. Topping a tree is, the ISA ANSI standards is do not remove more than 20 to 25% of the canopy at any one time. And if you remove more than the 25% of the canopy, what you're doing is reducing the ability of the tree to feed itself. You're reducing so much canopy that it doesn't have the ability to make the food sources so it can keep reproducing. At that point in time, what the tree would do is start cutting back on its own and reducing the amount of tree it has to feed to get in line with the amount of food sources and the nutrition that it has, which is why in some places when you see a tree topped, you'll see the dead limbs and the dead stubs. The tree could not support them no more, and that is the reason it is in some places called self-pruning, and they will just literally kill off the limb and it will die, and the tree will keep growing in a reduced rate, and it will continue to grow in a reduced rate for quite a while in some cases. In other cases, in a couple of years, you're removing more of the canopy because it's died again. topping is a bad thing. There's no good way around it. And if you hired someone to come and trim your trees, and the first words out of their mouth is, "We're going to top your tree," you need to back up and rethink who you just hired. You know, if they know that the canopy shouldn't be removed more than 25%, if they know the lateral trimming and directional pruning and things of this nature, then you've more than likely hired a qualified professional tree trimmer. And these are the things that make the difference between whether you're hiring someone that's just doing it on weekends because they own a pickup and a chainsaw, or whether you're doing it with someone that's doing it as a profession and knows what they're doing. Your tree's going to pay the price. And if you hire somebody, it may sound like you've got a good deal, but you're actually going to end up, at the end of the day, hiring someone, a professional, to come back and either fix your tree or take it out because they've done damage to it.
Now, when you're talking about professionals in the industry, you're talking about someone like yourself as a certified arborist. You're not talking about the individuals that come out and are cleaning the utility lines and they're whacking off half a tree so it doesn't grow over a utility line?
Well, yes, but at the same time, the utility industry, which is where I started my career in, literally, and I'm going to get lots of phone calls over this, and I know it.
It's all right, they can blame me.
The utility line trims trees, and they trim to a standard. But the main focus of the trimming around utility lines, especially the distribution main lines, is to get enough distance so that the public is safe and so that the utility is not having outages and blackouts and this nature. That is the main focus of the trimming. And when I was in the utility industry and managing crews, it was the easiest thing to say when we was at a public forum is to say we're not trimming trees, we're cleaning lines. And if you look at it in that process, they're cleaning lines and clearing lines so that you can have electric. And everybody in the utility industry knows that sometimes it looks bad, and sometimes it is bad. And there are some times that some companies go too far, but for the most part, most companies, not all, but most companies out there try to do it as well as they can within the standards that have been set up by the industry and still maintain the safety for the public. That is the crossroads that they're trying to achieve. What is the best for the tree, and also what is safest for the public, so no one gets injured or hurt and your lights don't go out. It is a very, very difficult road to walk, and any utility arborist out there will just, you know, they get a million phone calls every year. Why did you trim this way? And there's, I hate to say it, there's no good answer to it other than they're clearing for safety of the public, and they're getting the lines clear.
Understand? Just out of curiosity, this is a follow-up question on the topping. One of our trees in the backyard, a major limb fell, and part of that inside was eaten away at something by something. Is that caused by topping, or what causes that?
Was, you know, the next obvious question I have, was the tree topped before it fell over?
Yeah, it was just a limb. The tree is still there.
Okay, but had you had a company come in and cut the top out of it?
I think about 30 years ago it was topped.
If it's that, it's a yes maybe.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know, it could have had insects in it. You know, without seeing the tree, you can't really get into a diagnosis of what's going on or what could be happening. The topping of the tree didn't help it. What you end up with is wood-boring disease, wood-boring insects and things of this nature. And because of the topping, they have a direct route into the tree. You know, whether that caused your limb to fall down, whether it was just the wind velocity or wind direction, or, you know, without seeing the tree. See, that's the one problem that this profession has, is we will get so many people call us up and say, I have a tree I need cut down. How much does it cost? Well, we actually have to look at it because there's a lot of things that go into pricing a tree. You know, one is how long does it take? How far off the road is it? How much equipment can we get to it? You know, what do we have to do with the wood and the brush? And there's a lot of things that go into the price of a tree. And most of our customers understand that now, but every now and then you'll get somebody wanting to price a tree over the telephone. And literally, if someone gives you a price of either trimming or removing a tree over the telephone, they're guessing. And there's no other way to say it, they're guessing.
Well, I suppose a lot of it has to do with the location of that tree too. I mean, if you're next to major power lines, that's more of a danger to you.
Yes.
If it's next to my house, there's a liability there. If the wind blows the wrong way when you're cutting it, and you fall through my living room.
Yes, there's a lot of things, you know, and some companies will charge you by how big your tree is. For simple fact, we don't care how big. We charge by the hour. You know, we have an hourly rate that we have to meet and what we have to go through. And whether it is a 20-foot pear tree or a 100-foot oak tree, it really doesn't make that much difference to us. It is how long are we going to be there from start to finish. Now, if you've got an oak tree out in the middle of a field that all you want is cut down, and I don't have to put ropes in and there are guidelines or anything of this nature, it's probably going to be about the same price as the pear tree that's hanging over your porch that I have to handle every limb coming off. And some people don't understand that, well, you know, you paid X amount of dollars for the pear tree, but you paid X amount of dollars for the oak tree. I don't see the difference. Well, you know, it is like any business. How long does it take us to do this? And how much money is involved for us to do this? And how much profit are we going to make? So it really has no difference to us, our company. Some companies are different. How big your tree is. It is a time-consuming thing.
Now, I noticed in the video also you had needles that provided nutrients to the tree?
Those are injectables, yes. Those come from the Moget company. And we have insecticides, fungicides, and different types of chemicals that we can put in the tree for diseases and whether it's chlorosis or different type of ailments of the trees. And then we can also put fertilizer right into the tree. And these work really well because they literally go into the cambium, right into the system of the tree, and they are taken up very quickly by the tree, which gets the nutrients and the product into the tree system quicker, which means that it's doing what it's supposed to faster than if you fed it by the roots or whether you did a foliar spray.
So if I had my wife mow our yard,
Mm-hmm.
and she, like on your video, showed that she damaged the tree limb,
Mm-hmm.
Could I go and get something, or would I call you, or how would I repair
The chemicals that was seen on the video, you have to have a pesticide license to buy them.
Oh, okay.
But there are chemicals out there that you can buy over the counter. You can either get them on the internet. Southern states, and I haven't been to southern states for a while, but southern states used to carry a good supply of arboriculture and ornamental products. So it is a lot to do with what do you want to get done, and some of it is just, you know, old time remedies. I'm a big believer in seven dust.
In what?
Seven dust, you know, it's an old dust. It's not, you know.
It's what you put on your green beans, but they
Yeah.
say that's not good for you to ingest.
Yeah. You're not going to eat your tree.
Unless it's a nut tree.
Unless it's a nut tree.
Or a fruit tree.
Or a fruit tree. But yeah, I'm a big believer in, you know, some of the old time remedies that you really don't have to get, you know, way out into the new technology. Some of the old remedies are just as good, and most of those have either been deregulated or declassified to where the homeowners themselves can buy them.
We mentioned about not topping a tree and cutting back no more than 20%. Does that apply with fruit trees as well? If we would trim a tree back
not
5%, does
No.
that damage the fruit production?
Fruit trees are a category all of their own in the trimming process, and it depends upon whether you want a fruit tree that does production or whether you want a fruit tree that looks pretty and is ornamental in your front yard, or because the more tree you grow on a fruit tree, the less fruit you grow. And if you ever go to an orchard like Richard Brothers out here at Jackson, if you didn't know what you're looking at, you'd say they had the ugliest trees that you ever seen in the world, and they are. But their trees produce really, really nice fruit, and the reason
lots of them too.
and lots of them. And the reason for this is they've trimmed their trees back to a point that they're growing fruit, and they're putting all their energy or most of their energy into growing fruit and not growing a tree. Most of the fruit trees that we work on are in some sort of a landscape setting. So what we have come up with is sort of a hybrid trim of not a complete fruit production trim, which really leaves them scarce looking, I guess, and not a complete ornamental cut that produces no fruit. We try to get a happy medium in there to where you get some fruit and your tree's not really ugly at the same time. And it's taken a little bit of time to work that out, but for the most part, we can do that.
You know, something that I learned, in talking with Mike and Jason and you, when it came to what really damages a tree. Mm-hmm. And I was really surprised that it was weed eaters.
They kill more trees in the United States than any other thing.
And go ahead and explain again why.
Weed eaters are just that. Everybody wants their grass nice and neat around the yard and the landscape, and they get too aggressive around the trees, and they just eat the bark off of it, and the tree cannot survive once you cut into the cambium and the systems of the tree, and the tree will die.
And if I remember right from my college days and my biology class way back when, the veins in the tree are in that very
the
outside skirting of that tree, right underneath the bark. So if you damage just that little bit, you may have a tree that's a foot or 2 foot around, but we're only talking about centimeters?
Yeah, you on most, unless you're talking a major tree, you're talking centimeters mostly of the area. And again, it has to do with the type of tree, of how rough a bark it is, how smooth the bark it is, and all this. But yes, once you get into the cambium and the inner layers, if you cut it all the way around the tree, and that's what the reason the weed eater is such, because people they just go around the tree. Once you cut it all, the flow is stopped. You can't get flow from the leaves down, you can't get flow from the roots up.
It's a tourniquet.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Same thing, yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
And most trees have the most, is there barks,
thicker?
The bark, thicker, yeah.
Yeah, you take an oak tree or a walnut tree, something of this nature, they have thicker barks. Cherry trees, some fruit trees have thinner bark. There's a lot of, there's a lot of differences in bark from really thin to really thick. The redwoods out in California are almost 2 foot thick, the bark, before you actually get into the cambium. So, it has a lot to do with what tree you're talking about.
Scott, we're getting ready to eventually go live streaming. In addition to all those things, perhaps you'll come back and you'll help us through that transition also. It has been a pleasure, again, having you on our show.
Thank you.
And
enjoyed doing it.
Well, I've learned a lot.
How do we do a close-up on this card so all of our viewers can see Scott's contact information?
And as poor Mike, he has to have about 6 or 7 hands.
Tilt it down.
And for the radio, you can call Scott at 740 446-2015. He's here in Gallipolis, Ohio, and his email address is
Swain.
Swain, I knew that, Swain at treecares,
TreeCareSouthernOhio.com.
and
That's why we showed
Yes.
the card.
Yeah, but he's in charge.
I know he is.
Again, Scott, thank you.
My pleasure.
For being on the
Very
show,
much.
and hope to see you again. I'm Patrick.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Scott Swain. Thank you very much.